Morning, everybody. It is the 30th of May, 2026. Again, I seem to say this every damn week, but where the hell did the year go? Anyhow, we are coming off of the Memorial Day weekend. It was a very much better year this year. Normally, folks are walking around talking about thank you for your service or happy Memorial Day. Not neither one of those are appropriate for the weekend, and I'm grateful that was only one person I think said that to me, and I pulled her to the side and let her know that there was a difference between Memorial Day, Armed Services Day, and Veterans Day. So no, this that was not a joyous occasion. It was a good weekend though. Spent it in Florida, as I said last week, and did some things down there that needed to be done. Worked on some more guests. So I've been working. I've been working in the background without a doubt. I reached out to. I was watching. What is it called? Group therapy. Is it group therapy? The HBO show, couples therapy. Couples therapy. Yeah, I was watching couples therapy, and the counselor was talking to her counselors. One of them so happened to have my last name, just at with the S at the end. So I reached out to the brother, trying to get him on the show. I've been doing some background stuff too because Black Music Month is next month. It starts officially Tuesday. No, Monday. Monday. And every year I try to do something special for that. Hopefully, this year will be really, really special. I got some stuff lined up pretty good so far. Hopefully, cats come through and it'll mo better, mo better, mo better. What's up, Thomas Barry? What's up, TB?
Man, what's the word, brother? How you doing today?
I'm living. I'm living. I'm living. I'm living well. I looking forward to these next couple of months. It's a fun-filled, action-packed couple of months, literally and figuratively.
Yeah,
Setting some stuff up for next week when I'm away.
right on.
So you all will be taken care of.
Right, right,
I know
right.
you can handle it without me, but still, if I can throw something in there and add something to, yeah, I let her had, I let her had. I know I didn't take mine with me, but if
Yeah,
I could throw some stuff in there to make it mo better, I'm gonna throw some stuff in there to make it mo better. So that's what's up. Um, I yeah, I got a couple cards moving around right now for next month. I think it's going to be really, really nice. I appreciate you and the encouragement that you gave me too. You were like, bro, like last 2 weeks you'd have knocked it out the park. Like, oh, what you want to do
crazy.
next? You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah,
I'm
it's
like,
crazy,
hey
man.
man, I'm stewing. I'm stewing. I got the
Right,
pot
right, right,
stirring,
right, right,
trying to
right.
make some things happen. I'm looking forward to going to Toronto
Okay.
because there's something that really special I want to do up in Toronto.
The T dot.
So
Well, they got
yeah,
them.
yeah, yeah.
You
Up
ever
in the
been to
T
that
dot,
carrot
whatever.
place? That carrot fest or whatever? Have you ever been up
So,
there? They got like the carrot fest. You been up there?
oh, you talking Carabiner?
Yeah.
No, never did that. Never did that.
Okay.
Never did
All right. Cool.
that. After doing London, I'm like, I don't want to push my luck because I would be disappointed if it wasn't. I'm getting to you, Rashi. There you go. I'd be disappointed if it wasn't as nice. To
I
be
got.
honest with you, I've never done Mardi Gras. I've never done
I,
Mardi Gras, and to be 100, I think if I do Mardi Gras, I would actually do Mobile versus going
mm,
to New Orleans because Mobile is the originator. Most people don't know that, so
I
I
didn't
would go to
know.
Mobile
Mobile,
and
Alabama.
yeah, Mobile is the home of Mardi Gras. That's the birthplace of well, I shouldn't say it's the home. It's the birthplace of Mardi Gras.
Yeah, Mardi Gras is
It's
like a French thing, right?
yeah, yep. That's the whole festival with the beads and flashing the titties. Keep your shirt on, Roger. Keep your shirt on, and all that for the beads, and that's how we do it. So yeah, but I think I would do Mobile well before I did New Orleans. I was in New Orleans. What was that? 2 weeks ago? Week
Yeah.
ago? I don't know. It starts to rock. It starts to roll all up and together. And as I'm driving around, I'm looking and I'm like, this is why I don't come down here for Essence. This is why I don't come down here for Mardi Gras. Like I know there's no freaking way. First off, if you've never been to New Orleans, It's a very nice city. You never been? All
So,
right,
bro,
so
I'll
yeah,
tell you
let's
my
talk about that.
story.
Okay, let's talk about that. Okay, yeah, okay, let's talk about that. But anyhow, it's a nice city. It really is. It's not the most driving friendly city if you don't know where you're going.
Right,
The thing I love about New Orleans is the lights are very much in sync, but you don't have a gazillion of them either. You don't have a gazillion stop signs. You don't have a gazillion traffic lights. You can actually drive a couple of blocks before you're forced to stop again, and then all the traffic builds up, and then it's released. Drive a couple more blocks, release, so on and so forth. So traffic tends to flow nicely
hmm
if you know where the hell you're going. You know what I'm saying? And as I'm moving, I'm like, yeah, nah, I'm not feeling being down here with a gazillion people that don't know where the hell they're going in my way, causing me to have horrible service. Because when I go to the places that I go to, usually it's very good service. But that's because there's not a million and one tourists up in there. You know what I mean? Most of the places I go are well away from CBD,
right.
Central Business District. They're well away from CBD. So when I walk up in, it's like, oh, yo, what's up? It's like, hey, man, what's going on? Good to see you again. Hey, good to see you again. Boom, sit
Right,
down, eat, talk some shit, roll out, and continue on. I
right.
did a whole food tour. I'm gonna let you get in. I see you trying to get in. I'm sorry, bro. I did a whole
You,
food tour when I was down that monster. Like, as soon as I touched ground, I knew where I was going. I needed food, and I needed New Orleans food.
that vegan
A
joint, huh?
right,
That vegan joint. I saw you on TikTok. I saw you on TikTok.
man.
You on TikTok.
That food there, boy.
Yeah.
I ain't get my dinner spot out. I'm not giving it the dinner spot. That's not true. Spots, because I don't get them out. The dinner spots are reserved for me and family. I will give the breakfast spots out because I want people to support Maryland and the French Quarter Market at Meals from the Heart. I want people to support Chef at the vegan spot without a doubt. The dinner spots, there's enough people to go there already. They don't need the support. I'm keeping them to myself. You know what I'm saying? Without a doubt. Because when I go, I want to be relaxed. I
Right, right.
want to be loose, if you will.
I got
So
you.
yeah, definitely. Hey, Sister Rosh, how you doing? Morning to you. She got her release papers.
Y'all saw that.
I'm just
She
listening to
fresh
the
out.
big. That's some of the big bagging shit I've ever heard. I'm not gonna
It
share
is. It
where the
is.
good food is at night. They don't need
Nope.
no more people. I need to be
Nope.
able to eat. But that's
Hell
some of
no.
that you sounded like oh boy. Uh, you sounded
Mr.
like the
Chinatown.
clumps. Look, that's crazy.
Oh, Mr. Plum.
But I am free. I am free, y'all. And it wasn't easy. They tried to come for your girl at the end there, but yeah, parents calling. Don't nothing kill me like a conscientious parent on the last day of school. That shit be
Ooh.
killing me. I call your motherfucking ass all year. Tell you he levitating, pulling hair, drawing his A's upside down, throwing the lunch, cussing me out, kicking the smaller kids. None of that registered until the literal 23rd hour in the 55th minute. Motherfuckers talking about, can you come in and have a meeting with? I wouldn't fire me. Fire me. I wouldn't meet with this. Yes, I'll be happy to meet with her the first day next year. Send them on back. Run it back. Run them back. Run them back. Just like that. And I'll have her be the first meeting I do next year. But other than that, man, I actually it was an exciting year for me because I became a real teacher. I'm a real boy now. And so the money was a little different, not much different. But the residuals of what I did are going to happen now. See, because now I'm about to be paid without work, and I have never had that. I've never had that pleasure
Congratulations.
before of being laying there, and then looking up and the money be there.
I do miss that
So
part of it. Do miss
I
that part.
did. I did. I ain't even look. I ain't even asked for real estate. Do I have to keep turning in a time card? Like, how that work? The money just keep jumping on the card or what? But I'm gonna call and ask that because I have never been paid without manual labor before, and
It
so
disappears. If you got direct deposit, it's just gonna come to you like it did back.
boy, don't talk to me like that. That shit getting me warm in the chest. Ooh,
Listen, boy,
okay.
hey, I miss them summers, man. I'm telling you, when that money was just, ooh, man, listen. Hey,
And then they come talking about, won't you just do these last 21 days of summer and you could get your check and get your check. I was like, I be the accidentally burned a child with an incendiary device on accident. But so never mind.
Rush.
Never mind. Cause we gotta, and that's something we gotta talk about when you need to stop doing your job for a little while, so that you can do your job right. Sometimes you actually gotta stop
Yeah.
so that you can keep you. And you be thinking, but you had the summer, but you get spring break. Them be catch ups. Them don't necessarily be decompression packs. Them
Yeah.
is catch up packs of time. And so now it ain't nothing to catch up with but shoot, laying on one side, seeing if I can flatten that side out, rolling over on the other side, trying to see if the other side will get cool. And that's all I'm doing now. I don't even have for a long time, yeah, I've had an agenda in the summer. Last summer or the summer before that, it was going somewhere with my son, traveling with my boy.
Yeah.
My
How's he
summers,
doing? Wow, that was a deep breath.
well, see, because see, the neighbor, I remember I was telling you the job he got was too good, and
Hmm.
I know that don't make no sense. I know I was saying his job is too good. He had a salary, he had a grown man's salary job.
Yeah.
And I some in my heart knew that yes, it was a joy worker. You don't know a joy worker job. Joy worker jobs are jobs you give. It's a training internship job for the youth. That's what we call joy worker jobs here in Kansas City, because that was the name of the port program when they first introduced it, trying to get us off the street and trained. They
Okay.
had whatever industry it was would offer up a certain amount of jobs, and the youth would. Okay, so I do believe he had one of those positions. Now it's done, and I don't think he understood the nature of the job.
Mm.
And school, but he's
Yeah.
still trying to find work, right? He's still thinking
Mm.
he's gonna get. And I'm like, no. Now you work at school.
Mm.
Or now you work at night, you understand, after school. I don't know how to explain it, but now you getting a regular nigga who ain't got no education job
Mm.
instead of a internship to it. Like my dad works at Apple job. And so I don't he's that transition is hard for black men. You
Mm.
can go from no job to a job for niggas they ain't got no education. But when you go from a salary job where you were coming in with a polo shirt and you had your own cubicle and people were giving you deadlines for work, and now you got to you supposed to shake the fry maker. It's a different it's a difference that I don't know my son is ready to go down in there too. And I told him that's cool. You don't have to be out there shaking fries. But your ass better get to shaking something on that campus or else you you finna take out a shitload of loans. And while you don't have no debt, they already sending them the Capital One cards and all that stupid shit they do. You know what they do, Lee?
Yeah.
You bet. I tell you, as soon as I see it, I throw that shit in the trash.
Yep.
Cause I will not have you out here pillar to post on this fry worker job trying to figure it out while you in school. That's the whole point of us living right here where we live right now. And so he's in transition, y'all, but it's not for the worst. He's on his way to school.
Yeah.
It's just he did the cart before the horse real quick, and
Mm.
now
Right.
he back walking next to the motherfucking horse, trying to figure out. Why is that court in
Where did
front
I
of
go
the?
wrong?
Yeah, what that damn court doing up there? And I'm like, the cart was a good thing. You see what it is you need to do. You understand business ethics. You know that you can't show up in musty in them pajamas. And that's something for today's youth to tell them they can't go to work musty in their pajamas. That's an actual thing. So, you know, he just got to figure, what he going to do for money out after he enrolled. And I'm trying to support him. I done gave him a few, other uh, joy worker job type businesses, but them other joy worker job, Brother Barry, they don't want you to go to school. They assume the reason why you need a trade is because your ass you can't go to school. You can't learn conventionally. So they make them programs so that for to catch the nigga who just who flunked out of school or who just got out of jail or some other stuff like that. It's not necessarily, they assume you're going to go to traditional from high school to college, from college to some kind of trade, program while you in, and then to be hired for by while you do your internships as a college student. That's what my son's track is. But that's not what they offering. They offering, hey man, get off your ass and out of your mama's basement. Come learn HVAC and how to work for the water department. And I want him to do it. I want him to do HVAC and work. I mean, I don't have. I'm a teacher. I'm not a motherfucking NASA. I am a scientist, y'all, but I'm a low level scientist. I never did attempt to cure cancer. Okay, and so with my son, I'm telling you, yes, you are a genius. So you're a brain. But you also need to learn how to fucking work the HVAC system. I don't know how to explain it, but I know that he don't want to he don't want to be no regular dude. And I'm a regular ass person. So I'm looking as a regular ass person at a person who's capable of doing right like your son, right, Brother Barry? Surpassing me. I'm looking at a brother who is capable of definitely surpassing me educationally and for hiring. My son could probably make the amount of money I've made in my lifetime in the next 10 years if he
Okay.
wanted to. But that so I got to look at him instead of like I'm done, like my hands are open now. I don't hold on to him or I'm just looking cuz he's got more power than me eventually. But yes, I'm free. I'm free running around in
That's
these
what's up.
streets, brother.
That's what's up. To recap something that we started on, or to dive back into something we started on. I'm glad Rodney's on too because I really wanted to talk about this while Rodney was on. I wore my hat the vast majority of the week. Air Force veteran hat. Rodney, I don't know if this is true for you, but some of the looks I get from people as I walk past them with that Air Force veteran hat are very interesting to me. I think most people are accustomed to us, African American male or female, serving in the Army, even serving in the Marine Corps, even the Navy. Something different about the Air Force. It's one of those things. I caught this just the other day too. I caught this guy look at my hat, then he looked at me, he looked at my hat again, he looked at me, and the look that he gave back to me was, damn, how he do that? You know? And it got me to thinking, and that this will really bridge us into our discussion for today. A lot of people out here are stuck on coulda, shoulda, woulda. They are very quick to run up to you as a service member and say, "Hey, man, thank you for your service. I was going. There's a whole lot of I was goingers, whole lot of I was goingers." But these are the same mofos that are quick to talk about we the people, don't tread on me. The government's doing this, the government's doing that. How you know? What did you do? Where have you been? What have you actually seen? What are you having drilled into your head every day that you can never talk about to anybody? What secrets are you sitting on for a minimum of 50 years? Because that's what the contract says, minimum of 50 years. And then by year 20, 23, somewhere along that line, they come at you and slide you another piece of paper and extend it another 50 years. You know what I'm saying? And you're like, no, okay, no problem. And then again, year 20, 23, 27, maybe, we're going to extend that for another 50 years. And you gotta sign that paper. Because if you don't sign that paper, some other shit gonna start to happen. So, you need to sign the paper and you keep it moving. But again, these are things that, as a young person, because remember, they get us young. No one prepares you for crap like that. No one prepares you to be in a situation where folks are threatening your livelihood, your life, your stability, whatever that may look like for you, every day. And it comes from a point. I'm sorry. It comes to a point where it doesn't have to be pointed. It's just understood. That's tough. That's tough to live with. You know. Um, but yeah, as I thought about that in context of Memorial Day. So we all know Memorial Day started because of some black folks. South Carolina, Black Union. I think they were. I can't remember exactly what they were. They troops? Were they actually troops or were they just survivors?
They were just black people, some escaped slaves and some free.
There you go. So they dug up a mass grave and interred those in the mass grave, the Union soldiers who fought for their freedom, interred them and gave them a proper burial. Thousands upon thousands upon thousands of people came out to participate in this celebration. There were black children, hymns sung, prayers given, and at the end, there was some food because we gonna eat, and it was a celebration. That was the beginning of Memorial Day. It wasn't labeled Memorial Day at the time, but that was the seed. Just like we talked, Thomas, about the seed for um, Mardi Gras being in Mobile. The seed for Memorial Day started in South Carolina. And morning, brother Marlon, how are you? What I, what I, how I put these two things together. I'm sorry, I know I stuttered. How I put these two things together is and was the contributions of Black folk to the freedom of this country, to the upliftment of this country, too often is overshadowed, overlooked, underrepresented, and underappreciated. Last thing before I let you all jump in. In Florida, I ran into a black full bird colonel, and this brother was full bird back in the day. He did intelligence back in the freaking 60s and 70s. So I'm talking back in the day. I can't imagine the crap that man went through. I cannot imagine. In the Air Force, I cannot imagine the crap that brother went through. The Air Force was lily white for a long time. There was some black folks in there, but we were whitey, 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 white for a long time. And I just want everybody to know and understand we ain't going nowhere. We gonna show up.
It surprises me, Brother Lee, that the airmen, that's the national love and pageantry of the Tuskegee Airmen, it did not actually, sustain have a sustained boosting effect for, African American men within the Air Force. I thought for sure there'd be a plethora of little black boys looking up saying that they want to be, they want to be in the sky like that, like the airmen.
And I'm pretty sure there were. But those little black boys had to get past those racist white men. And remember, the Tuskegee experiment, they tried to shut it down. You know what I'm saying? So just think about that. Those cats were able to push through, make it through, and make it something other than what the white folks wanted it to be. And then think about how many of those racist white folk had to thank those black men for their lives. It's a lot of people on those flying fortresses. It was a lot. That was a nice sized crew. And because of the Tuskegee year, they made it back home. Because before then, they were dying in the droves. They were dying in droves. But the Tuskegee Airmen came in, saved them, gave America tactics that it could utilize with other forces in the future, executed a level of discipline that other people chose not to execute because they wanted the glory of shooting down a fighter here, a fighter there. They were chasing glory. They weren't on mission. The mission was get those heavy bombers to the target to drop bombs. That was the mission. Not going out here getting in dogfights trying to shoot down enemy aircraft. That wasn't the mission. Those black airmen understood the mission, and they were more than willing to sacrifice themselves so that the mission could be completed. But that tends to be our role here in America.
So, do you
We
think we're still holding fast? Now, I'd like to bring that to our current act of war, the one that we're talking about, not the two secret ones. The current act of war in Iran. Do you feel like we have that same as far as black people in the forces now? Do you think black people in the forces still feel like they are fighting for their, like the airmen did of the back in the day did? Do you feel like there's any this is my country, I will defend it, you know, type gusto in the act of men now?
yes, I think that's inherent in many of us. I would say the majority of us. That's inherent because we. I think Rodney has said this in the past, and I've heard others say the same. We are as American as it comes. We are the folks whom are always at America to be what it says it's going to be it in the courts, be it in the state legislature, be it in the the pursuit of happiness, the pursuit of freedom, locally, statewide, federally. That's what we do. That's who we are. More often than not, those places, those levers, are the only avenues that we have to really be represented or to be protected. Because the nation's constitution was not written with us in mind as being actual citizens. So we have to look toward state, local, federal government for protection or to provide us with duly earned reparations or whatever the hell you want to call it when we are done wrong. So we are the most American of any damn body, to be real, because we are the ones whom are always playing by the rules of America. That's all we got to go by. All right? Then, let's be clear, let's be real. We built this country. We literally built this country. Our labor, free or not, is the foundation for America. Our labor, free or not, is the foundation for America. Free or not, we built the railroad system. Free or not, We cleared acres upon acres of forest to make it livable and habitable. Free or not, we built dams. Free or not, we made rivers flow where rivers were never flowing before, so on and so forth. Free or not, we provided the not the capital because we did do the capital, but another way, the guarantee for the capital. That's a better. I'll say that the guarantee for the capital to get America money to do its bidding, be it fighting its wars or expansion. We were the cotton king of the world.
Right. I think I remember seeing. Is it true that that America has had no war that Black people have not fought in since its inception, since its pre-inception, that there has been no war or battle on this land since it was occupied by non-Native Americans. Since non-Native Americans, how did it go? Since
I
non-Native
can
Americans we have been able to fight. Let me sit on the sentence, but it has something to do with how long we have been here, and that every skirmish, every battle, every conflict, there has been at least a fifth handful of Black people that have, been on one side or the other of battle in this country since pre-inception.
I can see that. I can't speak on that for certain for sure because I haven't done the research, but I
I,
can see
I
that.
I can speak on it, and yes, it is true. There is no conflict that this country has had that African Americans have not participated in, and it wasn't always because African Americans wanted to fight, but sometimes had to fight, um, and always were exemplary. Keep in mind that the first person who died in the Revolutionary War, for a few folks out there who still don't know, was a black man. And heck, even the war for Texas's independence, black people were involved. So there's no conflict that this country has had, unfortunately, that we have not been in, or it's not been about us.
Right. Because they said even down there in Florida, when it was the Spanish, that even the Spanish brought Black people. And so when it was an argument between the Spanish trying to clear the land from the natives down there in Florida, even that we were even helping the Spanish fight the natives for the land that they had down there in 1590, not 1619.
Well, let's keep in mind that the Spanish enslaved black people in this country before. We often use 1619 as our beginning in this country, but it was long before 1619. 1619 just happened to be the English or the British. But yes, before that, there was the Spanish, and let's not forget the French too, the Portuguese. They all enslaved us uh, someplace in the world, and definitely here in this country. As a matter of fact, think about the maroon colonies that were in Florida, some of them as big as cities. Think about the fact that the Mississippi Delta people, along with escaped African Americans, are the ones they made a movie about with some blonde haired white dude, a man called Horse. That was Seminoles, the leader of the Seminoles. Well, all of us now know that Seminoles were a combination of Mississippi Delta people and African people, escaped slaves. Heck, Florida came into the Union because of us. So the expansion of this country that brought in Florida, one of our largest states, is because of black people. We shaped this country. We built this country from nothing into something. And in most of the early wars, this the Blancos were losing, and it was the black people who eventually were allowed to fight that saved them.
Speaking of the others that enslaved us, the Pope's apology for the Catholic Church's role in slavery. I didn't see that one coming. I don't know. Um, if it landed as heavily as it should. I agree with you, Rodney, because the news cycle actually changed an hour later. It's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. We can't have that. Let's throw something else out there real quick. But it was impressive that he actually did it. Again, I never saw it coming. I didn't think he was going to do it. I didn't see where it served a purpose in the moment. But I gotta pay more attention to this Pope. He might be a little different. Yeah, he might be a little different.
Well, he is black.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, Obama was black too, and Obama didn't do shit, and we'll keep that moving. But
Well,
yeah, man.
he was pressured into this because of that stink with the UN. You understand? When we went up and when we went in front of the world and tried to get them to agree that it was bad, so bad to do a complete genocide on a group of people, and everybody was like, "Huh? What? Yeah, no, yeah, that was bad." And then the people who could really pay because they did the work, they was like, "What? Huh? Nuh-uh. What?" And so somebody had to say something, or else the world, because we already going back into that sentiment in the hearts and minds of some white people, the world would have been like, "Oh man, well, let's run that back. Nobody said that was wrong. Let's run it back
Mm,
one more good time." So somebody has to stand. If I get up and say, "Hey, it's wrong to kill kids," and nobody say nothing, eventually even Disneyland or somebody got to say, "Yeah, no, that wasn't right," because if nothing else, if we start killing kids, it won't be no Disneyland left. Let's start
right.
the people with the vested interest in it. Well, even though the Catholic Church don't necessarily have a vested interest in apologizing, they know better than to sit there after making all that money and stuff and just to be like, "Huh, what they say?" They know better. They know better. So he was pressured. He was pressured by the United Nations. He was pressured by the people whoever pressured the United Nations, because I'm pretty sure they didn't initiate the pressure themselves. So yeah, that was a weird thing to do. However, you have to know that was something somebody made him do, in my opinion.
You said something interesting. Well, you said a couple of things that were interesting. I don't see who would have pressured the Pope, to be honest with you. Like the UN, are you saying because they released their statement that he then felt pressure to release his statement? Is that the premise of your statement?
Well, yeah, I mean, you cannot get okay, the United Nations is global, right? And
Correct.
so is we're talking about global entities, we're talking about people with reach within the nations, yes? So
Hmm.
one of them who has power, UN got power. They don't, we don't like to listen to them. We be giving them the mush, but they do have power. And we asked them, he said, was it wrong what they did to us? And they said, yes, it was wrong. But when they got up there, they couldn't get everybody in the meeting to say, no, it was wrong. Yes, it was wrong.
Mm,
Well, if you cannot get the world to agree that it's wrong to kill people for long periods of time, then you can look forward to that behavior rebutting itself, reseeding itself, and popping back up again in a very uncontrolled way. At least back in the day, there was
right.
it was just machine guns. We could control it. We could shoot at them like they were shooting at us. Well, now, if there's going to be some underground, some other stuff being used on us, if we do not actively denounce that it's wrong to kill niggas. Like you gotta get out there and say this is wrong, or else it's back on. It's back on. It's
Mm,
back. It's not Miller time. It's nigga time. So let's let's know that somebody told the amount of flack he gonna get alone for just saying that all them papal bulls from back in the day was wrong is gonna be he gonna be in meetings for the next year with all them big fat dignitaries of the Catholic Church trying to explain to them why he even said it. Trust me, he got some flack. So he would not have, in my opinion, marched willingly into that conversation had he not either had somebody within the Catholic Church supporting this endeavor, and or somebody, another global entity pushing him, saying, oh, okay, it's cool. Y'all killed niggas. Well,
Nah,
it's our turn now.
I think that was his mama and them because he is black, so I think that was his mama and them. Like, now, boy, what I done told you now, one of his, as they say in the South, one of his aunties in his ear, like, what you gonna do now, Charlie? What you gonna do now? You been talking all this stuff all this time. You know what I mean? I want to read this before I get into get Thomas up. So Jamar says, Sister Rashi, what do you look like? This puts me in the mind of hearing Charlie tell his angels where to go put in work. You crazy, dog. Yeah.
I don't look nothing like I did 30 years ago, brother. 30 years ago, I could have had every man on this panel, Mr. Rodney, and you too, probably back in the day. I had I had that donkey butt, and I was a brilliant young lady. But now I'm an old hag, bro. You don't want that camera on. Just look at the picture. Look at the picture and be happy, my guy.
So Thomas, Rashi also said something about money making, and this brings me to one of the points that we wanted to talk about
Wait, hold
today.
on. No.
Yes.
You're skipping because Marconi, the president of France, said yesterday that reparations are needed. So keep that in mind. And I'm going to say this: our problem in this country is everybody else is serious about it except us. We're not serious about the conversation. We've used it to actually beat up the Democrats in a lot of situations, but when you start seeing the Pope signal the conversation, then the president of France have that conversation, where do we fit in that conversation, especially at a now when someone is putting out a $1.76 billion slush fund for reparations for white folks, and our conversation is not about reparations for us. See, that should automatically trigger our conversation about reparations as a collective level. And I would ask, where's that litmus test for Republicans at this point? With that being said, I also want to point out, like you said, that the Pope is he's part African American, and so I don't think there was any. I don't think there'll be any backlash. I think what the church is looking at and what everyone else is looking at is that the world is in trouble right now. The financial markets may not be able to sustain this president. And I don't think Americans are taking it as serious as they will have to after this Creedon is gone, because it's a problem. Yeah, I mean, it gets paused for white folks because what they're showing you is that they have the dexterity to go through it, and they don't care what other people think. See, we care too much. And you see this in every avenue where black folks are in charge, where we could have done something, and we should be watching and looking at what's going on. And I'm ready for another black president. I am. I'm ready for another black president. I'm ready for another black president to get in there so we can say, no. He gave that 1.7 points. He get that 1.76 billion dollar slush fund for reparations to the Jan Sixers and to the rest of his goons. We need to go ahead and get that reparations to us with no apology whatsoever, because white folks have shown us that this is what they can do. Now, here's the thing. Here is the $25 trillion question. Where is our attention span at? Where's our attention span at? Oh, I sound like a robot, huh?
Yeah, it's a backlash. Both
Yeah.
of us are.
All right. You all hear me clearly?
Yeah.
Yes, you're
All
clear.
right. Yeah. I don't know why.
Rodney, will you mute 1 second?
Go ahead, Thomas.
I think that's it. Nope, it's something else in the system.
Let mute again. Let Thomas talk. Let's see what happens. Go ahead, Thomas.
All right. Can you hear me?
It's still a little choppy. It's a technical thing. We just got to push through it because we try to be here forever trying to figure this one out.
Yeah, that's StreamYard.
You know why Julian Macron is talking shit? He owe down like Pookie Toms. He owe down like Pookie Berry.
This is bad. Rodney, you on mute. Try you. Go ahead.
All right, how am I coming across? No,
Yeah,
still good.
nah.
Does somebody
Every
else have two devices on at the same time?
mm.
Because I'm seeing two of.
I'm gonna mute myself and then you try.
Okay, so I cannot hear the echo anymore. Can you guys still hear it? Okay, now I don't hear nothing.
Thomas, you're on mute. You.
Oh, Rodney, you sound a lot better when Lee went on mute.
Okay, Thomas, you sound better now.
Ah, it's Levon. There we go. Cyrus the virus.
Where's Sister Rashi?
Oh, she dropped off because she was probably trying to figure it out if it was her. She'll come
Yeah,
back.
it's still bad though. I'm getting a lot of feedback. All right, I
I'm
don't
not
want to
getting
end
any
this.
feedback.
I'm getting that scratchiness. You all still hearing it? Okay, then let's go. All right, so go ahead, Thomas. You were saying what?
I was just saying, I think we're talking about the Pope, but she was bringing up Marconi, and what I'm saying is people are looking at what Marconi said as a French president. Macron. What Macron said as a French president, I think that's very important to certain countries inside of Africa where the French is just draining them and have been draining them for a long period of time. But I also say this shows that the UN has had some effectiveness in the conversation because their declaration of saying that reparations is needed, and that happened this year. So I think the world is shifting.
As soon as Lee came back on, the sound came back.
So it's me.
As soon as you came back on, it came. But keep talking. Let's see if it still stays.
This is gonna be ill. All right. I don't want to do this if it's going to sound horrible throughout the show. I think that's
Good
a bad.
now.
Huh? I'm so you can hear me clearly. Okay, but when you all talk, you're saying scratchy on my end. Yeah,
So what we might have to do is when we talk, you mute, and when you talk, we mute. So how about that?
that's fine. That's fine. All right, so I'm going on mute, and you can continue to talk, Thomas.
So what I was saying was that it's probably a good thing that the UN had made that declaration, and I think that that's very important. But it is something that we should be we're going into the season of Juneteenth. This should be a conversation in Juneteenth about reparations, and we should be tying this to politics, this upcoming midterm election and on into the presidential election. And we should say, no, the Trump administration set the tone. He set the tone by illegally trying to give reparations to white folks, i.e., which I've not heard anybody bring up, Andrew Johnson, i.e., I believe one of the treaties that was broken with the people was us when we negotiated for reparations and they took reparations back from us when Andrew Johnson became president. And I would say Donald Trump has done the exact same thing to the American people as becoming president. He's reversed all of the gains. I'll say this real quick and I'll let Rodney hop in and Rashi too as I go on mute. I saw something with the white dude Nick Fuentes, and he was bitching and complaining about everything else, but he pointed out something that I never thought I would hear him say. And I almost posted it, but I don't want to advertise that asshole. He said that when the Democrats get in, you're going to get something. You got Obamacare, then you got the infrastructure bill with Biden. He said, but when Trump got in, what did the people get? He said, you got this big, beautiful bill that's giving money to the corporations, but what did the people get? He said, you don't get nothing voting for the Republicans. And he said that you can go back and he said, just go look at the hallmark traits of the Democrats versus the Republicans. Now, listen, this is Nick Fuentes, who we know is a racist, who we also know is former MAGA. But that come to Jesus moment, I guess the pockets are getting tight, right? The pockets are getting tight. And so with the conversation that he's having, and this is where I get mad with Umar and Rashid, with Tariq, and even my girl Yvette Carnell. Fuentes, them, and the folks on the right, they are, I would say, falling on the knee, admitting that they were wrong. Those black pundits have yet to fall on their knee and say that they were wrong how they attacked Kamala Harris. They have not said that whatsoever. As a matter of fact, they want to be able to criticize Trump and act as if they didn't tell you to not vote for Kamala Harris, or to ask you to stay at home, or whatever the case may be, to start talking about making greens inside of a bathtub, or whatever that we wanted to start doing at that point that we thought was important. They don't want to fall on that knee. And I just find it interesting that the white folks who are former MAGA folk, and even Candace Owens, they are now saying, I'm wrong, where the black pundits are refusing to say that they are wrong at all.
All right. So if you all hear me okay? All right, bet.
Yeah.
So what we I think the challenge there is still the fact that not only is she a woman, but she's a black woman. Not only um, did she present herself as someone that could potentially lead, but she had the additional baggage. And I've said this before: black woman, white husband, no children of her own. That's a very difficult sell to make. That does not excuse them from not supporting her. That does not excuse them from talking bad about her or talking about her in a manner in which was not supportive, not choosing to vote. We had way too many people choose not to vote. We ain't got time to play those reindeer games. If nothing, hopefully this election, the past election, I'm saying, taught us how important it is to get out to vote. Rodney and I have talked about this on the side. You know, the most important thing about this election right now really is going to be voter turnout. We got to get folks outside, energized, ready to go to the polls and do their civic duty. It should not be this hard to vote, meaning the hours, the times, the places, the fact that the Republicans are pushing against voting by mail, though Trump votes by mail because he does not live in Florida. So I don't understand that part. Um, but what we need to do is focus our energy, our attention on energizing folks, helping them to realize that they got to get out, they got to get up, they got to get to those polls, push that button, pull that lever, fill in that circle, whatever the hell you do, where the hell you live at, because God only knows what you do now. Um, but that's what we need to do. Even in this redistricting fight, this is all about voter turnout. It doesn't matter what your district looks like. If vote turn out and they vote the opposite way, that district can go right back to what it was, if not more than during the next election, before the next election. But folks have to get up, get out, and vote. This is not the time to sit down and complain about what you don't have control over. But you have control over your person, and your person being willing to get up, get out, and vote. And this is what we need folks to do: get up, get out, vote. It's that damn simple. Nothing more, nothing less. You gotta get out, you gotta vote. Rodney?
So yes, I think there was tens of millions of people who didn't vote. But there's two things to consider. One is, will it make a difference how many people vote? If we believe that the last election was rigged, why wouldn't they rig this one? Right? And let's say that the election wasn't rigged and just more MAGA S people went out to vote. Well, this time in Texas, because Jasmine Crockett lost her primary to Tellerico, There's a bunch of black people in Texas saying that they're not going to vote. There's black people. There's organizations of black people, Black Panthers being one locally, where they say they're not going to vote. The vote doesn't matter. One of the reasons why I did the event last week with our attorney general was because I didn't think there was enough enthusiasm with the campaign to cause people to go out and vote for our next governor. And I'm still seeing that there doesn't seem to be a lot of excitement. And if we don't generate excitement, if we don't generate that excitement, it's almost as if the Democrats think that things are so bad that everybody's going to automatically come to them because Republicans are horrible. Well, that may not be the case. People may just stay home. So, or they think if they just talk about how bad things are under 45, that'll push people out. Maybe they should talk about how good they're going to make it and the things that they're going to do to make it good, the things that he's done that they're going to undo. Maybe they can talk about how he's demoralizing the military, how he has his vice president saying, "You can't boo me," him getting the silent treatment at the military graduations he's gone to, the fact that he's subverting people in the military to MAGA. When they were blowing up ships in, I believe it was the Caribbean, how that's a war crime. But we let him slip on that war crime. So if we let him slip on that war crime, are we letting him slip on the war crimes that's going on in Iran? What about the ones that we're facilitating in Gaza? So the Democrats need to do more than just be on the ballot. They need to come get this vote. I'm a nonpartisan. Are they even talking to me? Now, in a way, I'm forcing them to talk to me, but I realize that I might be the exception instead of the rule because I'm putting myself out on Front Street. But everybody's not doing that. So the Democrats have to do more. And to be quite honest, we have to do more to make the Democrats do more. Because if we don't, if they just go status quo, business as usual, they're going to let these so-and-sos get off for destroying this country, for kidnapping people, brutalizing and victimizing people, and for causing businesses to go out of business, especially small businesses. And the greatest heist in the history of the presidency is going on right now, right in front of our faces. But let's also remember that possibly the greatest transfer of wealth in the history of this country is taking place in rich people getting poor people's money. Now, the question for me is, and this is what we had at the gathering last night, is how much pain do American people have to take before they're willing to do what Thomas Jefferson wrote in the Declaration of Independence when you have a dictator or a leader that is unfit?
I think that's a good question, Brother Rodney. I would just say about, and I told you this last night, I ain't liking what I'm seeing here in Minnesota. It looks like some coleslaw with some raisins in it. I don't want to eat that. The candidates are too white and too old, like coleslaw. Too old like coleslaw. That coleslaw looks shivered up. So I'm just saying, the Democrats can't just run off the fact that Trump is bad. First thing. The second thing is we have to get activated as a people and be motivated to get people to the poll. MAGA did a pretty good job of that. And what I would say is, in the next 2 to 4 election cycles, the Democrats need to get darker and younger. Just want to say that. Darker and younger. It's important. And the ideas have to be beyond what the Republicans have had us arguing about the last 50 years. Abortion, Abortion rights always come up. Public education, they always mad at the schools. They're mad at the social programs until you give the billionaires some money. And the interesting conversation this week for me, because Rodney kind of talked about it when he talked about the rigging of the elections, was Elon Musk's girlfriend and what she was saying. And her saying about the 50 lasers, which is the 50 satellites. Now, I don't know if you guys know, we want to transition about a little bit about Minnesota, but there was a district here in Minnesota that asked for something specific this week. For their ballots, they requested for it to become paper ballots. Why paper? Well, if I got a paper ballot, guess what you can't do? You can't use your satellite to rig it because we can count it. How do you beat a cheater? See, if you cheat me in digital, if I go analog, what you got now? So I just say that to say, listening to what she was talking about and saying he has these 50 lasers and how he knew a couple of hours before the polls closed that he won. People have to wake up. And that's the part for me. I'm like, I just don't see us, but I just don't see the general public angry about this. And part of it is the roots, y'all. The roots is we have to tell the rest of the world that we got fair elections, that we got the best democracy because we got fair elections. And that allows us to help confide the lie that they rigged the election, because that's a part of us saying that we're the best in the world. The reality of it is how the democracy would work best is if we told the truth and say that capitalism has infected our democracy. And what we have to do is make sure that if Elon Musk gets caught manipulating the elections, and here's the interesting piece: there's always a counter company to your company. So every business has another person that wants to be that person. There's people that can prove whether or not he hacked that election. And I think the Democrats have to signal, if they do get back in power, or even before they get back in power, that they're going to hold private hearings to allow those people to be able to tell whether or not Elon cheated with the election.
We got plenty of those people.
No, Rashi, go keep going. I was about to ask
Because
you
I
if
was
you're.
just thinking about this company called Cambridge Analytics. Have you heard of Cambridge Analytics before? Because it's an academic program for the most part, but it's exactly that. It is a permutation combinatoric statistical. I'm having a senior moment here. Statistical analysis. You feed it formulas and numbers, and it can kick back for you instances of reality based on its understanding of the numbers that you fed into it. So yes, there are several companies like Palantir and stuff like that that could have gone in and said, yeah, this is where it's impossible. If it's only 5,000 people in this town, it's impossible to cast 5,000 votes because no town has ever casted every vote. So if you have every vote cast from a town this size, it's got to be fake, like stuff like that. So there are analytical programs that can get at this, but the problem is, okay, so they cheated. Okay, okay, so they cheated, and what you gonna do? You gonna stop buying what? Stop buying what? Because they own. Because you think I'm mad at Peter Thiel. I'm not gonna buy his shit. Well, turn turn your TV off, and don't go no. When you realize how interrelated and interdependent these businesses are on one cheater, one big old cheater, you end up they'll render us back to Amish days, Mr. Barry, for
Well,
us trying to avoid.
America's seen this before with robber barons in the past. Democrat. What happened was, and this is the thing about conservatives and in Congress. The lesson of America in the 1920s and 30s was you don't let Republicans control the purse at all. That whole conservative, neo-national conversation, they can't be in control of the money. That's on the people because you forgot that. Second thing we forgot, robber barons. And what did they do? They took over every industry and they owned everything. And what we saw was Americans starving in the streets. I think we forget about that great, how many people were dying based off of starvation during the Great Depression.
In the Great Depression, yeah.
No one talks about that, right? Like there is no old school videos. They talk about World War I and II, but they won't talk about the Great Depression.
But when they do it, Tom, they put the dust in there, like the dust made them hungry like that.
Yeah, but and that's because they don't never want you to look at the rich in that way. But I will say this: what should happen if you want to get people to the polls is that if they start saying once we get in power, we are going to hold Elon Musk accountable for Doge, and if he tampered with our elections, we're taking every company that he has. Every company that he has, his mama has, his daddy has, and any of his bastard children, we're taking that money too. And anybody associated with him. Peter Thiel, we're taking that too. If you are Jeff Bezos and you're in on it, we're taking that shit too. And we're going to redistribute that to the American people. Will nationalize those companies until we feel so. And if a country harbors you, we're going to treat their ass like Trump treated Venezuela. We're going to bomb their ass back into the Stone Age, and we're going to take their shit. That's the conversation. If that's not how the Democrats are talking, then it's just a waste of time. You can't get in and say we're going to let bygones be bygones, because that's the truth. Yeah, and that's it. They're trying to fast track his companies like NASDAQ. But remember why, though, Lee? That's why he wants to have this. He wants to be worth these trillions of dollars himself, because he knows the only way that he has to become he has to become this uber wealthy. Because if he does not become this uber wealthy, he is going to find his ass in jail. And he needs to have that money so he can land somewhere, maybe Russia, maybe back in
Argentina
or South Africa. Keep in mind, this is a child of apartheid. See, black folks done made Elon cool subconsciously, like we made Donald Trump cool. Elon got all these baby mamas. I think we need to listen to that young lady and what she said about the 40 million with the text. We talk about the Epstein files. Why isn't she being sequestered to DC so that she can testify? She said a lot, and she got the text. People are reading the text on the podcast while she's on there. She's not dead. She's alive. When do you wait to have that conversation with her? When does the Dems wait to have her come in and have that dialogue? This young lady is telling you how MAGA works behind the scene. She's rolling it out. She's letting you know that most of those men are queer. She's letting you know. Like, that's what type of time it should be. But why aren't you hearing this? Well, you're not hearing this because, as Rodney said, the Dems are just like, yo, Trump is just bad. And because y'all know Trump is bad, y'all gonna vote for us. So we really ain't got to tell y'all we got a 2029 plan. We ain't gonna tell y'all how we gonna really make life better for you. We ain't got to do that. We just gonna keep on rolling out these retreaded candidates that ain't talking about nothing. We just gonna keep this on going, and we gonna cry. They think they're gonna cry their way into the midterms. And I'm telling y'all, if they do that, they're going to lose the election, because they're not dotting their I's, not crossing their T's. And this is what it's going to take, because if people find out that Elon is rich because he's been fucking with these elections, if they find that out, trust me, you're going to have so many Americans going to the polls, especially if the Dems are talking about taking his businesses and putting it back into the people's hands. Trust me, people will come out just for that alone.
He ain't going back to South Africa, Brother Barry. They down there shooting and killing everything that ain't black African.
I forgot I was on mute. No, they're coming to America. because Trump just granted some more folks passage to America. Pam Bondi went before Congress this week to talk about the Epstein file. She didn't say shit. She didn't recall. I can't remember. So it was announced a couple days before that she had cancer. I think that was a damn smokescreen to give her some type of cover. Her coming before Congress with the damn bandage on her neck and all. You say this crap. It's like Trump walking around with a full ear now after he got shot in the ear. Now, Rodney, how you regrow an ear? I'm trying to understand that. So you got shot with a high powered round, but you regrew your ear in no time.
Ain't
There
none
was
of
no
his
covering for the.
assassination attempts been on the up and up. Every time they try to kill this nigga, they bring out the bubblegum crew. And I just want to know how many times we gon' particulars like it ain't like America don't corner the market on assassins. We got one of them on every block. If they don't kill nobody but their own kind. So, but what are we doing here? Why are we actually wanting somebody dead? We're actually we're looking and saying, who gonna kill this nigga? Who gonna kill this? But it ain't right. What we do need to do though is recognize this. There is movement, but we don't pay attention to small court movement. We only pay attention to national, who's the over this program and the minister of this and that. But if we were to have a show or to at least find one who's saying, well, here in the state of Nevada, these are the things being shaken down. We got this motherfucker out the seat and we putting this person in the seat. Or what we need is a comprehensive report. Not even, maybe not district to district, but definitely uh, to more than one city per state, where we're showing what is happening on the judicial level, what's happening with the state reps, what's happening, who's the new senator, whether or not they are a transgendered senator or not. Okay, that's a joke for another day. But what we need to know is what is actually happening on those forefronts so that we can say whether or not we gaining ground or not. Because we're moving and shaking. We getting some of these fools out the chair. But the problem is we don't know because I'm not privy to what's happening in Minnesota. Minnesota could have just put in the new dude, right? But I don't know because we're not sharing our news that way. So what I would like to do for this show is try and do a deep dive on someone who is going for the best of their journalistic capabilities, state to state, to see what. Now, some states you don't even have to worry about. Some states are going, Montana going to be Montana, right? Right. So, and you know, Idaho literally is just going Idaho. But California, Texas, Nevada, even, hey, I'm excited, Missouri, and some of these other places, they are shifting, but we don't understand the shift. We don't know that there's going to be a precedent here set at this court that can ricochet throughout the rest of the nation. So one of the things I look forward to doing.
I'm gonna tell you why we don't know though. And this is where Americans have to make the sacrifice. Get your ass off social media and start back watching the news. That's the problem. You don't know
But
anything.
which news, Thomas? Which one?
Time out. We got to stop with that. Because when we had ABC, NBC, CBS, and CNN, you didn't have that problem. The problem is that we don't have to worry about the bones in the fish no more. So we just scoff down what we want. And what I'm saying is there's a lot of news, not just inside of watching news, but also in the newspapers that connect us to a lot of things that are still in print, that are still happening. We are just customizing what it is that we are watching so we can be in our bubble. And the social media platforms have allowed us to get comfortable in bubbles. And so we're not, when Lee hit me up the other day and he was like, stating some things, and I'm like, yo, he's tapped in. You got to get tapped in, because if we're not reading different pieces if we're not reading USA Today, if we're not reading New York Times or the Wall Street Journal and those types of things. I mean, we go in a doctor's office still. We should be picking those things up and making sure. And don't get me wrong, you can watch things on, like Rodney's talking about, with Don Lemon or Roland Martin, and you can pick those things up too, because I watch those joints as well. But I will tell you, I am still getting most of my information from circular news. That's that's where I'm getting my information from. And I would tell you, most of our people are not watching circular news. What they are doing is they're waiting for an article to show up on Facebook. They're waiting for a thread on Instagram, something on X. That's True Social, which is Trump's platform. That's what we're waiting for. And I will tell you, that has caused a bottleneck in information, a true bottleneck. Go ahead, Lee.
Oh,
Rodney, you can stop typing and you can talk because I
okay.
wanted to get your points. So
Al
you were talking
Jazeera.
about we are the
Mm-hmm.
journalists. I agree. We've been told that quite a few times that folks learn more from us in the 2 hours that we're on than they learn all day on week, which is one of the reasons that we are here. Rodney, what are you hearing from your end?
Well, so it's kind of a combination of Brother Thomas and Sister Rashi, is that people do need to be more engaged with information, with news. Information is king now. And if you're not in the information loop, it's like you're losing money because that is the currency, is information. And people manipulate it for or against us. And what we're seeing now is MAGA did you know that 60 Minutes fired their people? 60 Minutes is one of the last hard hitting, deep diving, long forms of journalism. And poof, it's gone. So a trusted news source, maybe, if not the most trusted news source, definitely one of the major remaining ones that was left, was 60 Minutes for investigative journalism, and it's gone. CBS has a record of, well, good news to way back into when I was a child, but I won't watch CBS now. CNN has been taken over by MAGA. I believe ABC. What is it? Is it Clear Channel? They're taking over stuff. No, no, it's not. Well, anyways, I forget, but it's something channel. But they're taking over news, local as well as national, all over the country. So what people are telling me, people come to the gathering, and this was a shocker for me. But people said they came to the gathering so they could find out what's going on. So I do think that those folks, like us and as well as others, have to be honest arbiters of the news, but have to take our role more seriously as the major news outlets are being bought out and subjugated by MAGA. Then people need to find a trusted news source or sources, and we need to recommend them because they're trusting us. Just like people trust us to find out what judges they should vote for because nobody knows, right? I'm probably going to, 100 votes are going to come through me because people are going to copy my ballot because they trust me. Well, if we are to trust, maybe we need to step up our game for that little portion of the universe that we have. And then finally, the reason why these people are able to buy up these news agencies, A, because they understand the power of it, right? But B, because they have the money. And C, the regulations are controlled by the administration. And going back to your point, most a lot of younger people are getting their news off of TikTok. They're getting their history off of TikTok, as well as still Facebook and others. But there's unregulated, so no telling what they're getting. Going back to Thomas's point, they should also be talking about regulating those social media platforms like news sources and how we're going to bring back honesty and integrity back in our major news sources.
So maybe that's it. That's the problem. Stop the major news source. Go to minor. Go ahead on and type into the Indiana Bugle and the Kansas City Star and the Nevada whatever. You have to go little, because that's where we're gonna find out the information. They're not gonna tell you about missing children. If you want to say you wanted to do a missing children understanding nationally of our missing children, well, we got like 2 or 3 places you could go, but the actual missing children epidemic is bigger than what the national registry is able to understand. But it's only until you go to Baltimore, and then you go to St. Paul, and then somebody's got to crop up a I don't know. I know what I'm saying, but I know I sound crazy when I say it. It's almost like a band of reporters or a band of journalists that sweep the nation or come together at a particular database or app where they report on shit like how many kids is missing in that town, how many women are gone, missing from that area, how many like Brother Barry, how many people have been shot by cops, or how many, stuff like that, how many people have been pulled over, how many negative and positive interactions with the police. There has to be a report out, and it ain't enough people telling. Like,
Well,
for real, who out there recording the people who telling nowadays?
but here's the thing: the black press is still the black press. We just need more of the black press, and we need, it's like today's show. We can come on every Saturday, but how many people may see us on all our timelines combined and really stop in and figure out what we're talking about? It used to be a time we would stop and watch and listen to each other. We don't do that now. It's something about the psyche of these social media platforms. Like it it's sold as if it's all in one. But if you really think about it, the things that used to make America what America was, as far as intellect, social life, etc., these platforms have killed. These platforms have killed. Folks don't even know. Now people are in 40, 50 years old on Facebook and Instagram and TikTok taking relationship advice. How do you not know how to relate at this point? You've been dating since you were 16 years old, and now you're 56, and now you need somebody to tell you what a woman wants. You don't know at this point. You'll never figure it out. So I'm just saying, I agree with what Rodney is saying. I do think there should be some regulation inside of these platforms. And what I find interesting, and I'll land on this one, is that the Republicans, before they got in office this time, they were talking about regulating social media. And that's how they bullied their way into taking over TikTok. And that's how Trump's friends ended up buying TikTok. And the same thing they did with the news. They were bullying the news. And then that's why he got his friends to buy up all of these networks, right? They knew that you had to control the message. The question is for the Democrats, if you see that that's what their game is to control it. What is your game to take it back and putting it into the hands of the American people? What are you going to do about that?
I'm off mute. As you said, they being the Democrats, have yet to even lay out a plan for 2029. So I don't know even, I don't, man, I can't even say they playing checkers. I mean, they might be playing backgammon right about now. I don't know what the fuck is going on. The the um the war report, or I should say the autopsy after the election came out, that was a complete freaking mess. Uh, the fundraising hasn't been there. They're being left in the dust by the Republicans because, to your point, to everybody's point thus far, they are extremely desperate to hold on to power because they know a lot of them motherfuckers going to jail if they don't. I'm sorry, they're thinking a lot of them will go to jail if they don't, because we have yet to understand what stones, if any, the Democrats have to press back against these jokers and get America back on the right track. Now, I don't know if we'll ever get to where we were going pre-Trump, but because I think it's going to take a number of years to get us back right after all this madness, man. Because we really have to look in the mirror and make some hard decisions. We really need to look in the mirror and talk about term limits. We really need to look in the mirror and talk about oversight, put oversight back into place. Remember, this cat came in and he gutted the attorney. I'm sorry, not the attorney generals. The IGs, inspector generals. Thank you, inspector generals of a lot of organizations to get them out because we knew we knew it was going to happen. I don't think other people knew it was going to happen, and this thievery of American taxpayer dollars, this thievery of Americans' trust in the system, it has eroded big time in a very short amount of time, and I don't think it's going to get any better anytime soon, unless there is a huge turn come this election, this midterm election, and that the fire is really turned on high, extra high, for the folks remaining who may have been complacent in what's going on right now because they got to go. They got to go. Like, we really need to put foot to neck, foot to ass, and keep it moving. Some of these folks got to go. I'm looking at a congressional fight in Baltimore. Tenured congressperson is going up against a younger hopeful. I love the tenured congressperson. Love him to death. Absolutely love him, respect him. We'll support him. But my question to him last when we were together was, who's going to fill your shoes when you decide to sit down? How much longer are you going to go? Well, we need a succession plan. And unfortunately, I'm not seeing that play out.
Hey Lee, I think I figured out what the problem was.
Huh?
It was me. I was the problem.
How so?
Because I had my Facebook up on the other page. And so it was I think it was reverbing from there. And once I stopped that, everything started to work.
See, Lee, when I be saying that, everybody get mad. I told you he was the problem.
No. Here's the issue. I'm still hearing it on my end though.
See.
I don't know.
That's because you kind of the problem too, bro.
Okay, Rashi. You better give
Okay,
us.
I'm just joking. I'm
just
joking. All right.
On my end.
Actually, on my end, everybody is good. All right. I want to know.
We got 30 minutes left. Let's talk about Iran. So on Thursday, there was an announced extension of the ceasefire agreement between Iran and the United States of America. This is where the shit just goes off the cliff.
Mm-hmm.
So the agreement was for the easing of tensions, so there's a free flow of goods through the Strait of Hormuz. It was, again, 60 days so that folks could work out other issues, including Iran's nuclear program. Here's the interesting part. Trump has yet to agree to it, and the Iranian national media says the deal hasn't been finalized. So what the hell are we talking about? I'm trying to understand. How do we have a deal that one party says isn't happening, the other party says they ain't agreed to? Is that a deal or is that a suggestion? I'm trying to understand. Now, I did see gas prices go down from over the weekend, but that's normal, right? It's a holiday weekend. People are going to travel. You're going to get stuck. That's what it is, supply and demand. The question I have, though, is will they continue to fall or will they continue to hover around the same place? Because this cat is talking about, well, he don't know. And so if there is anything right in front of us right now, again, he's talking about he don't know. He's humming and hawing and wooing. How the hell that makes sense? How much longer are we supposed to put up with this pain for some shit that you decided you wanted to do?
Well, you got to remember, brother,
we had no problems with Iran.
That the gas can change because they can release national reserves.
Yeah.
So that's what they did over the holiday. And every president does it over the holidays for the price to dip, and then it'll go back up. Right? So it'll shoot back up afterwards. Uh-oh, I'm starting to get that sound again. It ain't me this time. Hold on.
I'll put myself on mute again. Hopefully that'll work. It might be me, yo. I don't know why, but it might be me.
StreamYard, it could just be, let's just blame StreamYard, man, because it could be StreamYard. But I do want to say this. I feel like, and Rodney asked it in the chat, and I think it's real. Like, did Iran say that this was their agreement? Because I feel like a lot of what we're hearing is propaganda from the Trump administration. And I think that that's something else that's going to be something tough for the American people, is because they won't trust the government too much afterwards if there's not a full divorce from what's happening under this particular regime. Because I heard that he had an agreement, but then I also heard that the Israelis were tanking the agreement behind the scenes, even though Trump said Yahoo would do whatever, or Netanyahu, let me say the whole thing so nobody thinks it's Yahoo, the platform. Netanyahu would do what he want him to do. And I think his boss probably called him back in and said, don't make us drop that sex tape, Diddy.
Rodney said, how many times did Trump got to lie before we believe he's lying? Well, we believe he's lying now, Rodney. That's why I said this whole situation was crazy, because there was an announcement that there was an agreement, but then he didn't agree to it. The Iranians are saying it's not even finalized. But he called an emergency meeting in the situation room to discuss it. What are you discussing? If they're saying there's nothing there, you're saying you're not agreeing to it. What the hell? What are you discussing?
Hey, I'm sorry.
I
Do
just
me a
don't get it.
favor. Hey, Brother Rodney, can you do a simple soul a favor? A simple soul is asking, why are we at war with Iran? Just help me out. Just like as succinctly as you can, explain to me as if I have just had a stroke why we are at war with Iran. Iran.
It's a tail to wag scenario because things were getting hot with the Epstein uh, releases, and he needed a distraction. And it was also a way for them to make some quick money because he manipulates the market by lying and saying that the war is over and the market goes up. Then we attack them, they attack us. The prices go up, and then we rinse and repeat. So it's a way for them to make money, and it was also a distraction from the Epstein tapes.
Can you give me what are we lying? Okay, you know how you have a fight is because he talked about your mama, or he stole your money, or you have a fight over the property lien. What are we? Okay, now what is our beat? What's the fundamental? What they do? What do they do? What they do?
So they didn't do anything except just be there. This again, it was because if you look at what the reason why 45 says he went to war, that he's now not calling a war, that he calls a war, was because of their getting nuclear weapons. Well, there was an agreement already in place signed by signed by President Obama, but because it had President Obama's name on it, 45 couldn't have a black man's name on something, so he ripped it up. And then he says he lied, and can I say that he lied again? He lied and said we have to do this war to keep them from getting the nuke that they weren't getting, that they still don't have, that he said we decimated, that we're saying we still need to go fight to get rid of. So you see how many lies was just told in that one little segment? So we should stop believing the lie, call him what he is, and then remove him from office for lying to us. That's what should happen. But yes, it is a case of the tail wagging the dog, and things are getting too hot for him, and it was a way for he and his family and other rich people to make a bunch of money manipulating the markets.
Because he's I've heard in a report quadrupled his wealth. Him and the whatever relationship him and Elon Musk have had, it has quadrupled both of their wealth recently. I think tripled Elon's and quadrupled our president. And so
Elon, when he takes his SpaceX, when he does the IPO on SpaceX, the estimated evaluation of that is going to be $2 trillion. $2 trillion. One person, $2 trillion, more money than many countries. In
And he
America,
and he
we say
blowing stuff up.
corporation. In America, we say corporations are people. If that stands, there will be no bigger person in American politics, assuming that's not already the case, than Elon Musk. So that means he can buy. If a person has more money than countries, then that means he can buy anything that he wants.
Oh boy, they coming for you.
So you said something. You said, "Why are we at war with Iran?" And Rodney said, "Well, they're just there, right?" Well, that's true, but remember too, this is about the Epstein files. Israel wanted Iran taken off of the board because Iran has been a thorn in Israel's side as Israel is trying to take over the entirety, I'm sorry, of Palestine. Um, so they needed them off the board. They felt that Trump was playable, so they played him. They flexed him and said, "Yo, look, take your ass over here, do this work, or we gonna release the Epstein files." Because remember, they have the full Epstein files unredacted, and they could leak them slowly and surely, or they could leak them hot and fast. Either way, they chose to do it. They could put it out there, and there are too many people implicated in the Epstein files that are donors, that are high-profile folk whom Trump never wants to come to light. They are his friends. Marjorie Taylor Greene said that. Marjorie Taylor Greene said, Trump called her and asked her to take her name off of the um, the vote to allow the Epstein files to come to the fore. And she said no. He's like, well, these are my friends. These are good people. They'll just be hurt for nothing. It's nothing. It's just a Democratic witch hunt. No, it's something. It's a whole lot of something, and there'll be a whole lot of somebodies that are implicated in these files. So that's why we're at war with Iran. And he also underestimated Iran's ability to defend itself. He thought coming off of the quick raid in um, Venezuela that this would be another little pushover. He could just go in, push him over, and keep it moving because he, like other folks in this country, believe that America's military is greater than anything and anybody. Now, it is greater than most, without a doubt. We have a very strong military program, but we have been shown before where we fall short. The Vietnamese showed us that we fell short. The North Koreans showed us where we fell short. There are folks out here whom are so convicted and convinced of their stance, whatever that is, they are willing to take whatever pain we are willing to give them in order for us to leave them alone. And again, the North Vietnamese did it, the North Koreans did it. It can happen. It is possible. He miscalculated the strength
I
of his
mean, the
opponent,
Cubanos
and we
did
are
it.
out. Yep, and we are all paying for it. We're all paying for it, literally and figuratively. Some of us have paid the ultimate price. Many of us are paying mighty heavily in goods and services right now because of this situation. But that's a miscalculation on his part. Again, that is causing all of us
All
pain,
right,
be it at the grocery store, at the pump. It's just
stop
for
right there.
normal.
Stop at the pump. All right, I want to ask you something because this is where my research has been this week. I have been I have been researching how West Africa is starting to pull back out of the African Union and other eco programs so that they can refine their own natural resources and sell it to themselves and opt out of the global market, and how they've been receiving pressure from even the United Nations for real to reopen up their resources because of what's happening with Iran. And so one of the things I've been researching is how this battle we having with Iran has begun to fuel and embody, Black African nationalism on the continent of Africa, because they also were kind of dependent on that source as well. And so instead of them waiting in line even behind America to get oil, they have decided to refine their own. And how? Okay, go ahead.
I don't want to cut you off, but I want to add something to the conversation. Let's not just focus on oil. Let's remember that there will be thousands of people, potentially hundreds of thousands of people that die because of the situation. America's pullback on food has been just as impactful, if not more harmful, to the globe than this foolishness going on, stopping the flow of oil and fertilizer. Go ahead, Rashi, continue.
Yes, exactly. And so what you're seeing right now is an upcrop of Western Africa and somewhat stretching throughout Central Africa. The name you want to start researching, people, is Sahel, Sahel, and how they are beginning to redefine the idea of, what to do with your own personal natural resources, who you should be buying, who you should even be importing your goods to, because when they discovered that they were able to do, they being Nigeria, Mali, and them, discovered that they were able to slowly get their refine, to where they could at least make enough revenue to keep doing what they did the first time in other countries. Now they are starting to pull back, and it is having an extreme effect on whether or not they're able to stabilize their governments. Meaning, the fewer resources being shared. This is how it's explained to me. The fewer resources that Africa shares, the more unstable the continent becomes because of military and United Nations type intervention. They come in and they put an army around the refinery, or they start putting armed guards at the mines, and so it ends up with nobody digging that day, because the people who have their own armed guards are fighting the guards that are sent from abroad in order to resecure the location for the resource. So what we're looking at right now is that it's not being reported, because most people don't listen to news from abroad. Also, ding, ding, ding. Not only do we need to be listening to each state, we needed we need to have at least 5 different sources abroad of people you're listening to. I happen to, and so what I'm getting is that there is an extreme fight over natural resources right now, and that people who are doing the work of uplifting the nation by using the resources, refining them, in that local region, they are getting pushback from foreign interests, and it's causing the military to have to kick in with technically commercial business. Technically, it's a commercial business. It hasn't been 100% nationalized, but in order to nationalize it, they send in the military, right, to protect it from foreign interests. So that was one of the lessons I learned today, and it was quite fascinating to see it in real time. If anybody's interested, you need to start searching names like Dagate, Ibrahim Torre, and Sahel, and some of the other businesses happening abroad that will let you understand that while we sitting stagnant here waiting for votes, abroad they are actually fighting for their national they're still fighting for their natural resource independence.
Be careful. This happened in the 60s and the 70s, and they will drop a plague on them that they cannot protect themselves from if they want that land, if they want those resources.
Rodney is very right. They've already released Ebola again.
Oh no,
And
it'll get worse than Ebola. It'll get worse than Ebola, and that's part of it. The one thing that I'm careful with, and reason why I don't prop up what happens in West Africa a lot, is because I know, especially with this madman in the White House and the access that they have to bio weapons, they could pretty much cripple an African country overnight if they want to, by starving them out and then planting diseases inside of those countries to break their momentum. And so when you start seeing Trump bomb Nigeria, that lets you know that they already have an eye. They can say that, you know, they're doing this to fight back terrorism or whatever the case may be. This is an excuse to be in the proximity to make sure that those countries don't get too much of their own particular freedom. So I hear what you're saying, Sister Rashi. I remember Muammar Gaddafi trying to do the exact same thing, and we saw what happened.
Right, that's right. Yeah.
What happened with him in Libya, and so, and you got to remember that happened under the Obama administration, right? So, you know, while I'm happy that our brothers and sisters, oh, brother Rodney, got to get out of here. West Side rolling. All right, West Side rolling, brother. West Side rolling. uh,
Rodney got that phone call. He got to go.
yeah.
All right, so we got 13 minutes left.
Can I talk about George Floyd Square for a second?
Yes, that's exactly what I wanted to go to. Thank you.
So, you know, we had the 6-year anniversary of George Floyd last week, and my beard is nappy, by the way. Jesus Christ. I'm telling you, this is what happened when you're up till 6 o'clock in the morning because you can't sleep. I was up so late, I baked the cake. Anyway, what happened at George Floyd Square last week, I do want to speak on it because I was happy to be out there, and shout out to Agape and the people out there on the square of Agape. Man, they're just good people, man. But it wasn't the same turnout as it was last year. And I think a couple things are happening that I want people to understand. Hey, you know, Memorial Day was the exact day that George Floyd died, by the way. People wanted to know why they were doing it on that day. That's the anniversary of his actual death 6 years ago. The other side of it, too, though, is that I feel like a lot of people inside of the city of Minneapolis and the Twin Cities, I don't know if it's losing its steam, and I don't think that's about George Floyd. I just think people have a hard time. Like we were talking about all this other stuff, Lee, the attention span. Like the attention span is so, you know, like, but then if we go back in time though, at 2020, did we not go like to Mike Brown? Right? Freddie Gray?
Yes. Sandra Bland.
Tamir Rice?
Philando Castile.
So
yeah, Alton Sterling. And the names go on and on. They just, you know, the dude they just ICE just massacred, you know. So what do you
Too many folk lost their lives unnecessarily because white folks wanted their comeuppance, and that's the only way you can look at it. There's nothing else. None of the names we just named were causing harm to anybody. These were just folks living their everyday life. Every last one, every last person that we just named was just a person living their normal life. And that life was interrupted and ended because of interaction with a racist white person. Period. Point blank, period. Nothing more, nothing less.
and the new
Be it
dude
that person, be it that
Chud,
person donning
what's his
a
name?
uniform.
Chud. What's the new dude's name? I'm sorry. Please tell me that new dude be champion now. Chud Choi. What's his name? It's a white man with a mullet that everybody's talking about.
Chud the Builder.
I
Chud
have
the
no idea.
Builder.
But
You don't know what I'm talking about?
let me finish my thought. They ran into someone who ultimately was the beginning of the end of their life, unfortunately. And none of them, again, were posing any harm or danger to society as a whole. None of them. And unfortunately they all lost their lives. It is um a not just a stain. I'm with you, Rashi. I'm trying to grab the word. It is a reminder. There you go. That's the word. It's a reminder of just how frail America is when it comes to dealing with black folks, whom are just living their lives, whom are just going about their business. But for whatever reason, there's a certain sect of people in America that always believe that they have the right to challenge our life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. For again, be it you wear a gun and a badge, or you just wear a tracksuit, or you wear a suit and a tie, or jeans and a shirt, or shorts and a polo. It doesn't matter. At some point, all of these folks lost their lives because they ran up into a racist white person. So I'm not saying all white people are inherently racist. I'm saying they ran into a racist white person. And because of that racist white person's makeup, their mindset, all of these folks that we name lost their lives unnecessarily. Unnecessarily. So
But
shouts out to all of them. Rest in peace to all. I'm gonna let you get into Thomas. I'm sorry. Rest in peace to all of them. Hopefully, we can get better. Hopefully, we will get better. Hopefully, we'll get out of this mess that we're in as well. But we have to call a spade a spade. And we cannot walk around with blinders on talking about, no, it's not because of this, no, it's not because of that, when that is clearly the only thing that it could have been about. Yes, sir.
I just wanted to add in that hopefully, because what I started to notice trending around here is even our own people taking a negative context to George Floyd. And I want to say this: George Floyd didn't volunteer to lose his life. Someone took his life. All of this shit online about was he high or not high? And listen, due process, he still had a right to. That's just what that was. All the white folks saying, did he kneel or whatever? Listen, man, that's all a bunch of BS. And keep in mind, these are the same people when Charlie Kirk got murdered, they wanted us to have sympathy for Charlie Kirk. That should be extended both ways. But more importantly, with our own people, we should not start looking at folks who have been wrongfully done by the system and we start taking chunks out of these people's names and legacies, because once again, he didn't volunteer for it. His life was taken by a racist man. And that's just what that is. And, don't have to be a relative for you to have empathy for a person or have sympathy for a person. I wish we go back to the days where we didn't talk ill of the dead. That's why you've never seen me say anything negative about Charlie Kirk, because I just don't speak ill of the dead. With that being said, I want to salute George Floyd's daughter, because out of everybody, she's the one who's lost her father. And she was robbed of that opportunity of going to prom and having her father see her in a beautiful dress, and going down and getting married and having her father give her away. That was stolen from her. And so when I see all these jokers online saying all of these things, don't make it about the money, black people. Don't make it about the attention that the Floyd family is getting or the memorial's getting. Don't do that. And last but not least, those folks at the circle, work together. The city has granted Agape the space. Man, work with Agape and you guys sit down at the table and hammer that out. Stop acting like black folks can't get in a room, minus white people, and actually work out an agreement that makes sense amongst us. No big I's, no little U's. Don't allow your disagreement stop you guys from being able to have that moment of owning something that will make the community an example that we can duplicate throughout the metro. So that's my last piece on the square. Oh, and by the way, this may be the last year too that they may have the memorial if they open back up the streets and they don't figure out these things.
Rashi, what you got in closing?
Well, I want to let everybody know that the summer is going to be hot. The world is coming to the United States. We host FIFA this year. So just be ready just for the world to be here in our home. Secondly, I would like to thank you, brothers, for staying informed and active in the streets, bringing journalism to this show that people can learn from. Number three, I would like for parents out there to know that the next 2 months are on you. Whatever your local educator receives in August or September is going to 100% depend on what you do with that child in the next 2 months. If you put them in front of a screen and ignore them, we will receive a child who is incapable of doing the standards that the state that you pay taxes with is saying must be done. And so, tag, motherfucker, you're it. Fourth, I would like for all Black people to go get their health screenings. I'd like to announce this as How Am I Doing? Hallelujah 3026. Please go to the doctor. And I'm not saying because there's something in particular wrong with me, but I am so tired of seeing us in this condition. And if it's something wrong, we need to fix it now because it's about to get real out here in the motherfucking streets. So, I'm going to ask anybody within my listening ear, if you can, either go to your community clinic, go to your primary care physician, go and see. I don't care if you ain't nothing but the toenail nigga. Get that crusty ass toenail, ingrown toenail looked at, all of it. The dermatologist, go get it right because there's a good chance that this economy is not going to be able to sustain intricacies like dermatological cream. I know I sound pessimistic about America, but I'm telling you what is being said on the streets. So within this little cachet of money we call ourselves having, go to your doctor, go get the medicine, go get the diagnosis, go figure out what the fuck it is because we're about to hit a stage where that is not as readily available as what it is right now. Other than that, brothers, I am so happy. I'm so sorry we had so many technical difficulties today. I look forward to next week. And that's me. Have a good weekend.
All right, sister, peace. Thomas, what you got? You're on mute.
I just want to salute Brother Lee and Brother Rodney, man. They have been, whew, listen, man. I'm telling y'all, entrepreneurship has been kicking my ass. I was on a knee yesterday thinking I need to go back to work, man. This shit is for the birds. Fuck all this. But I realized as soon as I said it, somebody hit me on the call and I was like, man, do you really want to go back or do you want to go ahead and step through this door? The important thing is it's always good to realize nobody does it alone. And we have to learn that in this society. No one does it alone. You may be on the podium accepting the award, but it was other people that got you there. Somebody made a sacrifice for you to get there. Somebody put a word in. Somebody donated some money. Somebody loaned some money. Somebody bribed some people in to get you up there, but you're up there. And don't forget when you're up there to thank the people who helped you get there because we don't do it alone.
Thank you, brother. Look, y'all, I'm gonna make this real short and sweet. Thank you all for listening. Thank you all for watching us. Continue to follow us on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, etc. Hopefully, you all have a great weekend. This is the commemorative weekend of the attack on Black Wall Street in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And you never forget that. Please don't ever forget that. 125 years ago. You all be good. You all be safe. Until next week, family.